Well, hello friends. Where were we? I think we were heading into part 55. This is Redbox Dungeons and Dragons. We had just picked up a couple of major quests, and it says in this next section of the adventure, you can't rely on your character's combat abilities. You need to use your wits and your character's skills to succeed. Whatever class you're playing, it's time to determine a little more about your character, what your character can do outside of a combat encounter. If you're a fighter, go to 56, and we are, Dwarf Fighter. As a fighter, you've already filled in your strength and constitution scores on your character sheet. Now it's time to fill in the rest of your ability scores. Let's take another look at our character sheet. We've got our strength and constitution written in. The other ones are blank. And there are 4 more ability scores: dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Dexterity measures coordination, agility, and balance. Intelligence describes how well you learn and reason. Wisdom measures common sense, self-discipline, and empathy. And charisma measures your force of personality and leadership. You can assign the following scores to these 4 abilities: 13, 12, 11, and 10. You decide which score to apply to each ability depending on whether you want to imagine your character as being particularly agile, smart, perceptive, or charismatic. Your race also influences your ability scores. If you're playing a dwarf, you already got a +2 bonus on your strength and constitution scores. And we are a dwarf. We're playing a dwarf now. And it talks about what some of the other races get for their bonuses. Well, let's take a look and see where we may want to assign these points. 13, 12, 11, and 10. Well, let's see. 13, 12, 11, and 10. I guess which do I want to be good at next? Maybe might be good to have a good charisma score so I can perhaps be intimidating. Why don't we put a 13 there? And 12 might be good to have a good wisdom, because dungeoneering sounds like a good skill to have, as well as perception. So we'll put a 12 there. 11 and 10. Why don't we go with an 11 in dexterity and a 10 in intelligence. Sort of an average intellect. So there we go. We filled in all 6 of our ability scores. Once you've assigned your ability scores, look at the table in the sidebar on the next page and fill in your ability modifiers. Skills are essentially extensions of your ability scores. A skill check works just like an attack roll. You roll a d20, add your skill check modifier, and see if the result is high enough to achieve what you want to do. The starting point for a skill check modifier is the ability modifier for the ability the skill is based on. For example, athletics is based on strength. So when you try to climb a sheer surface, you make an athletics check. As a fighter, you gain training in 3 skills, or 4 skills if you're playing a human fighter. You can choose those skills from this list: athletics, endurance, heal, intimidate, and streetwise. See the sidebar on page 21 for a brief description of what these skills are good for. Your character's history can play a major role in determining your skills. If you were a member of a town guard or militia, Streetwise might represent your ability to track down criminals. That sounds interesting. And follow leads. Intimidate is a good skill for a bodyguard, as it helps you scatter beggars and others that attempt to bother your employer. Perhaps you were conscripted into military service by an invading army, and with your training and endurance, a reminder of the grueling experience you survived. When you choose training in a skill, you put an X or a check mark in the trained box next to the skill's name on your character sheet. Training gives you a +5 bonus to skill checks you make with that skill. For each trained skill, add 5 to the appropriate ability modifier and write down the total down in the check space for that skill. Alright, so let's get our modifiers first. Here they are. That means for our dexterity, our dexterity is 11. The modifier is actually 0, so we're going to put a +0 there. And for our intelligence, that's also going to be a +0. Our wisdom, it's going to be a +1. And our charisma is also going to be a +1. So those come right from here. And then we have to take a look and see which skills we want to choose. And let me take a look one more time. Those skills were athletics, endurance, heal, intimidate, and streetwise. Page 21 will have some more information. Athletics: jump, climb, swim, perform similar feats of strength. That sounds pretty useful, so why don't we choose athletics as one of our trained skills. So let's put the X mark there in athletics, and we're going to put 5 plus the strength modifier. That's going to be a total of +9 there for my check. Okay. Endurance is good for surviving harsh conditions. That sounds pretty good too. Dwarves sound pretty sturdy. So why don't we go with an endurance? It's going to be 5, 6, 7 +7 there. And I think we get to choose, isn't it 2 more? No, 3 skills. 3 skills. We've already got athletics and endurance. Now we need to choose from heal, intimidate, and streetwise. Maybe intimidate. Intimidate might be good. Let's take a look at that. Is that charisma based? It lets you exert your forceful personality to encourage others to comply with your will. Now let's take a look at heal. It lets you perform first aid and stabilize allies who are dying. And what was the other one? Streetwise. Making contacts, gathering rumors and information, and finding what you need. I think I'm going to stick with intimidate. Just going to keep him real simple. Intimidate. 5 + 1 is 6. So we've done our skills. And where do we go from here? Once you've chosen your skills, go to 60. We're off to 60 next.